'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the galaxy not a clone to be found, and victory seemed a fallacy. Lightsabers were hung on the Jedi with care, but with no aid and cover, Jedi soon felt a bit scared. The planet Camino had to come up with a plan, but options were thin with Django on the lam. They thought to themselves, our operation is dead, until someone said, we'll make them with gingerbread. So bake them they did, and sent them to fight, and the battle was won in only one night. For the Separatists ate all the troops with delight, so many cookie troops they could no longer fight. This tale may seem wrong, it may be untrue, but that's our little secret between me and you. Because it's just a fun ballad, you see, of how gingerbread saved the galaxy. Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan, aka JK of JK Collects, and remember, I'll be posting a new video at least twice a week, if not more. And if that sounds of interest to you, please click that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. In this episode, we are taking a closer look at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series 6-inch scale Phase 2 Clone Trooper Holiday Edition. Okay, welcome back everyone, and here he is, our Phase 2 Clone Trooper Holiday Edition, aka our Gingerbread Man Clone Troopers. Alright, so let's flip it around to the back, and just like the ones that we've seen before, right, not a whole lot going on the back here, but a little bit of information about it. I do appreciate the, let's see if we can get a good angle of it, the snowflakes, right? So we saw the Mandalorian one that had the helmets for the Mandalorian. This one is a clone trooper that has clone trooper helmets around the snowflakes. So there we go. Very cool. And then the little, almost like a to and from gift card for the clone trooper with the logo, the symbol, the emblem, whatever you want to call it, and Disney and Hasbro. There's our side window with the little gift bow that we saw before on some of the other ones. And then, of course, on this side, we already saw a little glimpse of that. We've got a couple more of the snowflakes and the Phase 2 Clone Trooper Holiday Edition, and there's our guy, yet again. I mean, just looking at this thing, it is fantastic, it's cute, and it's hilarious, right? So let's pop into this and really get into the absolute joy of opening this one up. It feels a little bit like Christmas, doesn't it? Okay, so let's pop this open, and hey, would you look at that? There it is. There's that good old Hasbro pamphlet. It never fails. If there's ever anything that you need to be a constant, reliable thing in your life, it's that Hasbro's gonna give you that pamphlet. Okay, so there he is. Not a whole lot in here, right? Let's pop this blaster out. Let's pop this Santa Porg out, and let's pop our little gingerbread clone trooper who helped save the galaxy in our little story, right? If you missed it, go back and check that out. It's a wonderful little poem. It was written thousands of years ago, a long time ago maybe, in a galaxy far, far away. So I don't know who the original writer was, but there we go. Here's our blaster. So let's pop that autofocus off so we can bring it in close and focus on it ourselves. So there's our blaster. All right, so kind of like the one that we saw with the Mandalorian before. The lights are kind of bright. Let me see if I can bring them down so we can see some of this detail, which unfortunately we have to do that because, like I always say, if you're gonna sculpt that detail, put some paint apps in there. Put a little bit of dry brush or something like a light gray or something just to highlight it. Let us see that work that you're doing, right? You put that effort into sculpting this fantastically sculpted blaster. Normally, yeah, sure, it's done in black, and here it's done in, I want to say, Nerf gun, but it's in white, and it's got the orange tip for safety, right? Because you don't want the galactic police to not know that this isn't real, I guess. But there we go. So that's it. The short story is maybe a little bit of a light gray wash on there, or just some dry brush to get in those little cracks and crevices, just to really highlight that you've spent that time doing all that sculpting. Okay. And here he is, right? Here's our our little Santa Porg, dressed up. Obviously, a repaint. We are in repaint realm, so it comes as no surprise to anyone that this is just a repainted Porg from another figure. But it is absolutely adorable, right? So very simple. Just seems like obviously cast in red and then painted over it with the other colors, because I don't know if you can see it. There is a little bit of red showing through the white right here and right here down the middle. You know, just maybe another coat would have done the trick. And there he is. I mean, I love the black on the top and the eyes. It almost looks like it's a criminal Santa Porg. A little bit of blue kind of came through on there, and the only blue that I see is on the eyes, so I'm not sure where that exactly came from or how that came to be. But as far as paint apps go, that was a little bit of a mistake that's shown. You see that? Just a tiny bit of blue. Hopefully we can get the focus just right. Right there at the top, on the white, right there. But anyway, there's a little bit more over here. So maybe the blue was painted and it got a little haphazard. But there we go. I mean, the short story is the guy's adorable. Yeah, there's blue all over the place, but the guy's adorable. They did a great job. He's tiny, so if I have to, again, look that close to find issues, I think we're good, right? Because let's for scale, he's a tiny little thing, right? He can't even see him. Like he's like, wait, there's a porg? Where? Okay. We'll move the porg to the side and let's take a look at our gingerbread man here, our Phase 2 Clone Trooper Holiday Edition. So there's our guy. All right, I mean, just looking at this thing, it is fantastic. I love it. I mean, yeah, this again, yet another a repaint or recasting, right, of different color. I don't think they really changed anything from the general Clone Trooper casting or body. I would be really surprised if we do find anything, but it's simple, it's fun, and you know, it's for the holidays. But let's dive into this guy, right? So underneath, we're dealing with that that helmet that's got the little bit of plastic faux head underneath, also cast in this brown gingerbread plastic. So it's not just the helmet that has the spot that goes on the peg. It is the faux head inside of the helmet. So we'll take him a step back here and let's look at some of the flexibility. The neck does have flexibility. It's not attached, not part of the torso, so that helps with some of the movement. And then the head is still attached to a ball up underneath there. Side to side, not bad. Up and down, again, also now the up. I'm actually pretty pleased with the up. The down, you know, there's stuff that gets in the way. We've got that head underneath there, and that catches on the neck, but the neck does help bring it down a little bit more. Still, as you can see, not that far. But let's do the ultimate test, right? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom, full exorcist rotation. There's our 720. Look at him go. I'm very proud of him. He made it. Okay. But let's take a little bit closer look at the helmet. Okay, so entirely the brown plastic with a little bit of white paint apps in there. Now the white paint apps, I will say, you know, cleanly done. I don't really see any issues with it being up this close, right? And it's a narrow space to paint that white in, right? Because it's raised, so you're dealing with a lot of potential error on that. And I don't really see said error, right? So it looks good. If I had something that I could recommend or that I think would help stand out, a little bit in between each of these will say teeth of the mask, right? So you can see that if I just kind of block the light, see the raised teeth or breather. Not really breather because I'm supposed that's down here, but the teeth, right? Because they're supposed to look kind of like skeletons. But yeah, I think if there was a little bit to bring those out a little bit more, maybe a black, who knows, or some brown. But there we go. And looking at the back of it, right, no additional apps or anything on the helmet. Could there have been something else? Sure, maybe, right? Some things to kind of highlight the detail. Again, that's my thing. Maybe different shades of brown, like a slightly darker brown or even a slightly lighter brown, just to kind of pop some of those details. I mean, they do show through just fine, but there's always a way to show a little bit more pride. Underneath the bodysuit is that brown rubbery kind of plastic. It is a darker brown tone. Don't really have to do much with it. We'll see what the shoulders got. So a little bit of a butterfly joint in there, right? So some good mobility on that. We've got good rotation, right? That way, good rotation this way. We've got the shoulder pads that are that rubbery material that's designed to travel up above the trapezius point of the armor. So great for that. Bicep, tricep rotation, no, because they want to keep that in place. No elbow rotation, but we do have decent elbow flexibility, even though it seems like it might be, yeah, I think we're dealing with a single elbow. If I pull a little bit, nothing really happens, so I don't want to pull too hard, but we got the single elbow and we've got that pad kind of covering a little bit of that elbow seam, which is always kind of nice, right? So thanks for the armor being a part of that to help cover up some of the seams. Do I have oh, looky there. We've got a little bit of elbow rotation right there, so I'm happy to see that. No forearm rotation, but good hand rotation, and the wrist movement, we've got the up and down on it, right? So that's good. Good to see that. It's good for the weapon holding. Same thing on both sides. We have that shoulder pad that travels up in the same build and shape of the arm. And then as far as on this side, the wrist travels up like this. So up and down. So right, this one is kind of we'll say a back and forth, right? And then this one's more like an up and down because of a lot of times maybe holding the weapon down in more of a neutral position instead of battle, which would be a little bit more up, right? Yeah, so there we go, in marching into battle. Down here, the torso, good. We got a nice little torso joint there that's got a lot of good movement. Ready to hula hoop maybe. Hip rotation, non-existent, so we don't have that there. There's no hip joint, but that's okay, right? There wasn't really anything changed from the clone trooper. So leg flexibility, we're not going to expect too much different, right? There we go. That's the biggest clone split that we can do as far as side to side. So not the worst, but not the best, right? Because we've got armor getting in the way. You know what are you going to do? The armor does flex a little bit if you kind of rotate it, but it still doesn't buy you much of a difference, right? And again, like if you push it too hard, look what I've done. Can you see the discoloration that I've already done in the plastic? So it did pull that plastic very easily, and now I've got a little bit of a light discoloration in it. So you know what? That's on me. So don't push it too hard because it will push back. We do have thigh rotation, which is nice, right? But obviously we saw, because I went and overextended my my welcome there. Single knee, but we do have that pad again covering the joint, and it seems like it, just like the elbow, it's attached up here, so it's not really going to move or shift around. So it does kind of stay put, even if the back strap piece does move up and down. The piece itself is attached here, so it does not move. I don't feel any calf rotation. Foot, we've got up and down, and we've got the good old ankle breaker, right? So that, yet again, that one painful step that you can do, they don't miss out on that. Everything's the same on the other leg. All right, so let's check out some additional paint apps, right? So I got to start here on the torso or the chest, because obviously these are the ones that stand out the most. We've got the bow tie with some fun little shading, right, to try and give it a little bit of depth, right? So it's very cool, and everything that seems like it applied very cleanly, right? Even that tiny little bit right there. You see that little line? Can you see that? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of the line. Sometimes if I block the light, it shows a little bit. There's a little line right there. But then just, I appreciate the depth that little bit of, looks like a dark brown on there gives that bow. And then the little green dots. Now with these, again, a little bit of something extra on there. Let me adjust to manual focus. See how some of the green on the bottom is not there, but all four of them are the same, so it seems like it's intentional to give a little bit of depth, maybe like it's got a little bit of a shine on the buttons, right? So like it's a shiny candy button. So very cool, right? Not a whole lot of paint apps. We've got a little bit on the wrist, right, to show like some of the icing, like they have a little bit of an icing bracelet going on there, and then the same thing down at the ankles, right? So they have a matching wristlet and anklet of white icing, you know, in a nice little art shape. But that, and then the face, that's it. That's all we get as far as paint apps to kind of show that this is intended to be a gingerbread version. Now, that being said, this is fun. It's cool. There's nothing that really stands out that was not a good decision or is disappointing. Like I saw, perhaps, you know, if you haven't seen the Mandalorian Holiday Edition one, check that one out. Granted, there were a few disappointments, right? So the holsters and stuff like that. But check it out and you'll see what I'm referring to. This one, no real disappointments like that. There could have been some more paint apps, right? But then again, like how far do you go when you're just talking about what's supposed to be a gingerbread man? Now, that being said, it's a great color shade of brown plastic, but maybe something to dull it, right? So it's a bit shiny to seem like it is a gingerbread man. If they maybe had dulled it, maybe with paint, or somehow found a way to just dull the plastic. I know they can do it because they do it in different figures. those would be some of the only things that I would say, you know, maybe would have helped improve it, other than stuff I mentioned before. But all in all, this one, I'm pretty satisfied with it, right? And not just because it came with this guy or the Nerf blaster. I think this one is it's a fun investment. It's a good, fun little Star Wars Christmas decoration. If you have a chance to pick one up, yeah, I would recommend it. But let's check out some 360 views of this little buddy and his friend, and we'll be right back. And there's our holiday team, our Phase 2 Clone Trooper Holiday Edition / gingerbread style. Really a nice figure, and the Santa Claus version of the Porg. No complaints, really. Just some suggestions that I thought could have brought it to another level. Paint apps, a little bit of opportunity like on the Porg, but I would have loved to have seen a little bit duller plastic or brown for the Clone Trooper, and maybe some tiny little things to bring out some detail. But again, you know, how much can you do and it still look like a gingerbread man without being overdone? So there we go. I like it. It's definitely a better of the holiday edition ones that I have gotten to mess with so far. So yeah, thank you. Well, that about does it. As always, thank you for checking us out and for joining us on this collecting journey. Look for a new video at least twice a week, if not more. And be sure to subscribe and click that like button. It would really help us out, and it would mean a lot to me. And if you'd like to see some more videos, there are a couple of quick links on your screen right now for you to check out. No matter what, thanks for taking the time. And we are all in this world of collecting together. Let's look out for each other. Thanks.